What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about fighting the hard mode Nullaeus, the double question mark difficulty, as any of the healing specs in the game. I'm going to explain to you why doing this fight as a healer is generally free compared to DPS or tanks, exactly what you'll need to do to pull it off, and there'll even be links for talent builds for all of the healing specs in the description below, though I highly suspect any build you'll run will be just fine. In our last video we talked about why clothies have a much easier time in this fight compared to any other armor type, but doing this fight as a healer is actually free compared to any DPS or tank version of the fight. First thing you'll need to do is run Valeera as a DPS. I would say you could comfortably do this with a level 20 Valeera. Then for combat curios, you're either going to run Mantle of Stars as just like a low health, cheap death thing that works on you and Valeera. If you want to opt for one of the damage options, I would go with either the Holy Bouncing Hand Grenade or the Nether Entropic Kriss. For the utility curios, you can run the Motionless Null Tide, and then you can use your haste buff on like the ad phases to help blow them up, although Valeera does a pretty good job of that herself. The Null Tide also has the benefit of that movement speed increase until you jump. That'll help you fight against the pull-in from the singularity that's ponging its way around the room, starting at that second intermission. I would generally just recommend the Overflowing Void Spire here, and the Void Spire will increase her damage to the boss, whereas she doesn't really get benefit from the Null Tide itself. This fight is still an opportunity for us to learn something, so I'm super excited to explain to you the difference on how threat works when you're in melee versus when you're at ranged. If you've ever played ranged DPS in Mythic Plus and opened up on a boss from 10 yards away and stolen aggro and got smacked for it, you could have done the exact same thing from 35 yards away with no issues whatsoever. There's a higher threshold, which is 130% threat versus 110%, where you're actually going to draw that enemy's attention. Generally, you will have to throttle your damage throughout the fight so you don't even eclipse that 130% aggro. And specifically for priests, while Fade does remove your threat from the table while it's up, it doesn't permanently erase any of your threat or even prevent you from building up threat while you're faded. It just makes you invisible on that threat table. So it's really handy on the pull and coming back for intermissions, but it's not a get out of jail free card, it's not vanish, it's not invisibility, it's not going to actually drop your threat. And specifically for Druid, even if you're a super boss cat weaver, you'll be doing more damage from ranged just by virtue of having a higher threat cap before you actually pull off Valeera. Min-maxing your damage on this fight is really just an ego move. It's not really going to matter. You won't even really need it for that last 25%. And really the less threat you build up throughout the entire fight, up until the boss comes back from that final intermission, the more damage you'll actually be able to dish out in that last 25%, because Valeera will have built up that much more threat than you up to that point. Let's talk about the actual fight. Valeera will get every interrupt, even if you're on Resto Shaman, so you don't need to worry about that at all. I have seen her interrupt the mage in the final intermission and then not be able to get the kick on the boss. I wouldn't count on that happening, and if it does, rip bozo, just pull again. It won't be an issue. Your job is to stay at ranged, stay under 130% threat, and dispel Devouring Essence every time it's placed on you. Let's talk about the intermissions, which happen at 75, 50, and 25%. At 75%, you're going to get two doggies. The doggies will jump around and apply a rip debuff to you and Valeera. Both of them can be on the same person. It's not a significant amount of damage for a healer, but you can stun and disrupt the ads. You're not at all worried about your own threat on the ads. Even if you get aggro, they're not going to hit you anywhere near what the boss would hit you for. Just like DPS, having cooldowns for that's super ideal. And in that first intermission, we're also going to get that floor painter effect, which will just paint one row of the three in the boss room with a void effect. That persists for a little bit, and then as it paints another one, that one will go away. There'll always be one row that's covered with the void effect. It's not super duper lethal, but you don't want to be swimming around in it. At 50%, the second intermission, we have 8 ticks that spawn 1 second apart, which is kind of annoying. That will stack up a damage over time effect on you and Valeera. This can get kind of gross. Again, don't hold back on this, blow them up, save cooldowns for it. As a healer, you should be able to comfortably deal with that. It's probably the most dangerous point in the fight, especially if you're not contributing too much damage to the ticks themselves. And again, just like the doggos, disrupts, knockbacks, Ursula's Vortex, fears, all that stuff does work here. In this intermission, we also get the addition of the mobile singularity that will pong its way around the room and pull you in if it's anywhere within 30 yards. That pull-in becomes more severe the closer it is to you, so you can successfully plan for it, especially since you're going to be at ranged and you'll have all the time in the world to set your movement up for it. Even if you have to run through the floor painter effect to get to the other side of the room, that's going to be just fine. That final intermission starts at 25%. The boss summons a mage ad that cannot be disrupted, stunned, or anything like that. It can be interrupted, so shamans, you could do that if you want. It'll spam shadow bolts and shadow crashes at you. Just don't stand in the shadow crash. And really, healer is the only role here that has a pretty free ticket to just blow this thing up. Again, Valeera is going to do a tremendous amount of damage to this thing. If you contribute just a little bit, you'll be able to take that thing out before the 30-second intermission is up, and then it's just you, Valeera, and the boss for that last 25%. If you're a shaman, evoker, or have drums, go ahead and bloodlust when the boss comes out. The boss will do increasing damage over time. You'll get through that phase just fine. Valeera handles it. Just keep the heals on her. She's not getting brought to like 5% like you are on some DPS classes, right? And in this phase, you and Valeera can get a curse placed on you. This will reduce your movement speed by 30%. Shaman and druids can just dispel it. I wouldn't bother dispelling Val. She's just going to be in the middle. It doesn't really affect anything she does. And even if you don't spec into your curse dispels for shaman and druid can shift it off. Shaman can break it with a ghost wolf talent, spirit walk, or wind rush totem. Paladins can freedom it off. Monks can use tiger's lust or break it with roll if talented. Holy and disc priest can snap it off with fade if talented. And I'm not sure Prez Evoker can actually remove it. They would have to immune the placement on it by actively traveling with like Dream Breath. Let me know if I'm missing something for Evoker. Just keep Valeera healthy. The phase will be over in 2 minutes or so. No problem at all. Additionally, DPS Valeera has Assassinate, which works at 5% health on bosses. So you just need to get the boss to 5%, then the fight will be over. So if you're looking to complete this fight as easily as possible, fire up a healing spec. If you have any experience on it, you could very well one-shot the fight. If not, that's fine, get back in there. The learning curve is much smaller for healer plus DPS Valeera than any other combination of player and Valeera roles. Good luck out there. This will be a good reminder for people going for Fabled Vanquisher in Season 2 to not only have a Clothy ready for that day 1 kill, but maybe also a healer. Either way, that's all I got for this one. Please make sure to like the video if you liked it, sub to the channel to stay in the loop for more videos, more Nullaeus content, Mage Tower content coming out, and anything else that interests me. I hope you're having fun out there in Season 1. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.